There's been a lot of intentional polarization, right? I think that that's obvious to basically anybody who's been paying attention. The vast majority of people don't get along. Maybe not the vast, but definitely a lot of people who live in certain polarities, right? And it's been done very tactfully for several generations, right? So you can polarize the races, you can polarize the genders, you can polarize the religions, right? You can even polarize the sciences and especially the politics, right? Now, there are a lot of things that are intrinsic to how individuals process the world, right? The methodology, the process that they go through with just overall consumption of input, right? All of your senses send inputs to your brain, right? Telling you what you perceive as reality as it is, right? And then you have emotional inputs, right? All the stuff and how you feel, right? Because it's not what happens, it's how that what happens makes you feel, right? And then there's intellect, right? So the processor, the processing aspect, right? The way that you break it down. Now, some people are mathematically inclined. Some people are artistically inclined. Some people are very emotionally inclined, right? There's positives and negatives to all aspects, right? And the whole thing that is supposed to give us strength is the diversity of perception, right? To get an overall better understanding of existence in the world and the problems that we confront, right? And we have this insane gift where we're all kind of different, right? And so you get enough people to put their heads together and you get enough perspectives analyzing a situation or a problem, you get a better understanding of everything overall. Now, that's how it's supposed to work in a perfect world, right? Where things aren't all muddied up and mucked up and all this fun, right? There's like the perfect essence of something, okay? Now, the essence of mathematics is exactitude, it's precision, it is order, right? It is reliable, it's dependable, it's consistent, right? These are positive things, right? And the positive can get focused on a lot by somebody who is inclined to mathematics and precision and all of these things, right? But to somebody who's artistic, well, there's no curve. I mean, pi, but you get it. It's there's no flair to it. There's no depth. There's no life, right? It's rigid. It doesn't matter anyway because it's not beautiful. If that person disregards mathematics and wants to live solely in the realm of creation, right? Artistically, they're going to hit a wall, right? A wall that could be surpassed by a comprehension of mathematics, right? At the same time, the mathematician who scorns the artist, now, he can throw all of his intellect at something, but without the ability to look outside of the box and approach it in an exciting, adventurous, beautiful, and creative way, he might understand all of the existing knowledge, but will more than likely not contribute to the furtherance of new knowledge. So he will hit a wall without creativity, just as the creative individual will hit a wall without an analytic mathematic, right? Now, this is a really good analogy that I came up with on the fly because I don't prepare any of this shit. I just sit in front of my laptop. Like, so I'll think about a big concept and then I'll just start ranting, which I guess is lack of preparation on my part. I don't know. But it also embodies the struggle between the masculine and the feminine, right? In more ways than one. But this is something that has been an incredibly polarizing thing, right? Because men do not understand women, women do not understand men, and humans are all narcissists. And so we like things that are like us, right? And then just the overall essence, right? So there's toxic masculine traits, just like there are to mathematics, right? Rigid, no life, it's dead, it's this without the art, right? Masculine is a protector, right? That is the positive aspect. And then they could also be the tyrant, right? That is a negative aspect. It could be done with the same motivation as the protector, right? But it becomes tyrannical, becomes corrupt, right? Isn't that like what sin is? It's something that is meant to be good, that is perverted. And that is what happens with typical traits. You know, you can have the loving, compassionate mother who dotes on her children so lovingly and so much that she creates a useless adult, right? You could have the father that's trying to protect, and he ends up dominating until the child rejects and rebels and ends up getting into a hell of a lot more trouble, right? These are these are things that we have all seen in our lives. You know, it is a positive trait, and it's not necessarily composed to any gender, but like the energy of the masculine concept, the masculine ideal, right? There are certain things that are embodied by that, as well as the feminine. And if you are pure masculine, you will hit a wall. And if you are pure feminine, you will hit a wall. We need to be perspective junkies, right? Now, when it comes to ethnicity, there's definitely a lot of variety, right? And now there's a lot of debate about IQ and about like just language development and conceptualizing different ideas and the way that brains have developed and the way that bodies have developed. And if you're buoyant and if you're this and if you're that, and look at the accomplishments of this genealogy and the accomplishments of that race. Okay, the same type of thing is applicable, right? So, for some reason, Europeans came up with private property, right? That was a big deal, right? That's how you get an entire army of colonists to take over a continent. You offer to give them the land, right? The Spanish had one of the largest colonies set up all throughout Mexico and South America, right? But only a handful of people owned the land. It fell apart. People were there. Nobody had invested interest in it, right? That is something very important that they've contributed to society, right? You look at the the Medici family and the way that they introduced the banking and all of that stuff throughout Italy, which was just a copy of an Asian setup with the mathematics, right? You look at the different contributions of different ethnicities throughout time, throughout history, and they all bring something different to the table. And it's not the individual. It doesn't matter what your ethnicity is. You can thrive in any regard, depending on what you are an anomaly at, right? But we need to get over this narcissistic bent that we have, right? Because, as I said previously, we are narcissists. And we like people that are like us, right? It's an affirmation of who we are and what we are. We like to prize our perspective over others. I am guilty of this, but I love perspective. So if somebody tries to critique or wants to bring something else to the table, I hope that they provide me with some type of information that is going to revolutionize a concept. It's going to alter a held belief, right? Because I'm not emotionally attached to ideas and concepts, right? Everything is interchangeable and all interlocking and interwoven, and it's inside the connection between concepts and ideas that everything is going, right? If you focus too much on one thing, you will never see the connection to everything else, right? The serendipity of it all, right? You take a step back, you look at it from the third person, and you can examine it fully, pick it up and look at it, examine it. But you cannot do this from a singular perspective. And the only way that you can get alternative perspectives is to understand other individuals with that and to respect and appreciate the way that they view things. And you internalize that. You make that a part of yourself and you expand your little window that you view the world through, right? And the broader that window gets, the more that we as individuals are going to be able to accomplish, right? And that's what we as a species need to get through our head, right? There are individuals who are actively working on their own self improvement, but there are many other individuals who are just actively distracted, right? Or even worse, working actively against themselves, right? And there are a lot of things that are geared towards this. There's a lot of things that do not want us to interact, right? And this polarization has been exacerbated at every chance by the controlling elite, right? Not to get too conspiratorial, right? But I can go through how they have funded different organizations that have promoted ideas, that have promoted shifts, right? Different industries that have encouraged like quite a bit of toxicity or actively altering, right? There has been a poisoning, right? Men are at an all-time low for testosterone and sperm. The majority of women are on birth control. So many people are on different uppers and downers and this and that, right? We are exposed to plastics that wreak havoc on our hormone production, right? And we are these chemicals, these entities, but like we are so polarized, we are so emotionally sporadic, right? And this causes us to be just horrible individuals, right? As our world closes and we create these little echo chambers, right? We just listen to people who are just a circle jerk conversation of affirmations, just so we know that what we believe is right because we found people that believe the same thing. And it might be there's more to it. Just because you're right doesn't mean somebody else is wrong. Like, you know, I don't know. It's funny. And not like ha ha funny. Just like damn. This is how we allowed things to proceed. Right? We can't just take a step back and realize that we're all brothers and sisters. You know? We all need to love each other, even though we're all different. As cliche as that is, you know, we need unification, not division. We don't need to be polarized. But hey, we got more in common with each other than those that want us to fight. Best of luck.